So Phil, how is life treating you?
Amaka, I'm okay, I guess. Me and some friends are making a conscious effort to learn more about Black history. I feel so bad for what my ancestors did to yours. It just wasn't right.
So where are you getting your information from?
Well, so far we rented the movie Roots, Sounders, and tonight we are renting the biography of Miss Jane Pittman. I hope we can handle it. I heard it was really sad.
Well, those are starts, I guess. But if you want a more advanced study on the history of African people of color history, or what I like to call it, our story, let me recommend to you my favorite website, KIK, Knowledge is King. There's a lot there that you can learn and the membership is free.
Free. That's my middle name.
Here, let me give you something I learned from there the other night. The name of the post is The Greatness of Ancient Africa by Mark Wells. Put on your thinking cap. The roots of Western civilization, culture, science, technology and religion are to be found not in Greece, but in Black Egypt and Nubia Kush. From as early as 10,000 BC to 1500 AD, blacks were in the forefront in the development of science, culture and technology. Black empires and civilizations from the prehistoric Zing Empire of 15,000 BC of Mauritania to ancient Kemet, Egypt, and Nubia Kush, which existed about 17,000 years ago, experimented in various aspects of science and technology. Some of these sciences and technologies were so advanced that stories of flying machines and the invention of advanced machines has been passed down through ancient writings. Later, black civilizations such as Kemet and Mali experimented and created various sciences and technologies such as the chemical and mystery sciences of ancient Kemet and the surgical sciences of Mali, in West Africa. As early as about 400 BC, a black pharaoh named Pi-Diamen built a model glider to conduct experiments in flight. Centuries before, the black Egyptians had already invented gunpowder for use in their temples and mystery schools. The mathematical and astronomical sciences necessary for high technologies such as those used in space technology and industries were first began by blacks in Kum, Egypt, and Kush, Sudan. These sciences and high technologies were then passed on to the Sumerians, the Babylonians, Elamites, all originally black civilization, Greeks, Hebrews, Romans and Arabs. In fact, it was the black Sabeans of South Arabia, members of the Cushitic branch of the black African race, who established the first civilization in the Arabian Peninsula. Thousands of years before the emergence of the Bedouin Arabs, black medicinal sciences began in Kemet, ancient Black Egypt, and led to later Greek medicinal sciences. These ancient African sciences were copied by the Greeks and others from the ancient papyrus texts composed by the ancient Kemites and Nubians, from about 711 AD, when the Moors, a black people from Senegal, West Africa and Morocco, invaded Europe. They introduced black Muslim Moorish science, technology, civilization and education to Europe and raised the Europeans from the Dark Ages of about 480 to 711 AD. The Black Moors introduced advanced learning to Spain, similar to what had been taking place in Ghana, and at the university city of Djenn in Mali for hundreds of years, from about 711 AD, when the Moors, a black people from Senegal, West Africa and Morocco, invaded Europe. They introduced black Moorish science, technology, civilization and education to Europe and raised the Europeans from the Dark Ages of about 480 to 711 AD. The Black Moors introduced advanced learning to Spain, similar to what had been taking place in Ghana, and at the university city of Djenn in Mali for hundreds of years.
You must be kidding.
No dear, wait, there's more. They introduced advanced learning to the cities of Toledo, Seville and Cordoba. These cities became centers of Black Moorish and European scholarship, science and culture, where Europeans and others learned new and advanced sciences, arts and technologies. That led to the European Renaissance of later years. The Black Moors introduced art, architecture, sciences, medicines, animal husbandry and other advanced disciplines to Spain and the rest of Europe. This was the catalyst which led to the European Renaissance, compared to Africa and East Asia, where the Europeans learned more technology from the Chinese, such as the making of gunpowder and guns. Western and Eastern Europe, excluding Rome, Greece, etc., have very little history of great civilization and achievements before the Middle Ages. Africans and the blacks of India have had thousands of years of great contributions to world culture and civilizations. The British, French, Spanish, Dutch, Scandinavians, Germanics, Celts, Russians, Poles, and many of these groups who claim superiority to blacks and others were from prehistoric times until the 1500s AD much less advanced economically, culturally, intellectually, and scientifically as well as socially than most black nations, kingdoms, and empires during that period. From the time of the Roman conquest of Europe about 400 BC to the about 1200 AD much of northern and western Europe was in a stage of barbarism and backwardness. The Roman settlements and cities built by the Romans were the only areas of advanced culture. The claim by some people of racial superiority over blacks is based on recent developments. The introduction of gunpowder to Europe from China via the Arabs played a major part in elevating the Europeans to a level of military superiority. This advantage over some Africans made colonialism and the theft of African lands as well as the defeat of some African armies easier than in past eras. When the Europeans fought with sword and lance against sword and lance, their victories against Africans were few. For example, Hannibal, the African from Carthage, defeated Rome's legions with as little as 15,000 men and ruled Italy for many. However, even with modern weapons during the modern era, Europeans were sometimes soundly defeated. Nations such as the Zulus, Mosai states, Ashanti, Dahomians, Ethiopians, Hereros and others defeated the Europeans in a number of wars and battles. Queen Tiye black people were the original inventors of the disciplines that helped bring the world into the technological age. Mathematics, physics, astronomy, building in stone and bricks, metallurgy, and all the root subjects that were necessary to push the world into today's modern age were begun by blacks in Egypt, Nubia, Kush, Mesopotamia, Sabo, and Black India. Therefore, even if people of European origins have made improvements in ancient technologies and ancient inventions, such as rocketry, computer technology, aerodynamics and others, the basic mathematical formulas and ancient prototypes were invented by Africans and Chinese. For example, the Africans invented the binary system, which is still used in the Yoruba oracle and was copied by German scientists and applied to computer programming. Many ancient formulas in trigonometry, calculus and physics as well as chemistry came from the scientific discoveries of blacks in Egypt and Nubia. Kush, Imhotep, the father of medicine. Imhotep was also the world's first physician and wrote many books on medicine. He was a great architect and was the first to use huge stone in building most Western European scientific discoveries, or rather copies of the original discoveries of Africans and Chinese, were put to use during the 16th to the 20th centuries. It was during this crucial period that some of the great scientific and technological discoveries and inventions were made. Yet, these discoveries and inventions were and are merely improvements on ancient discoveries made by Africans, Chinese and Black Kushite Arabs. For example, gunpowder was invented by the ancient Egyptians and Nigerians who used the kola nut to make gunpowder. The Chinese reinvented it and used it in fireworks and explosives. Steel was invented by Africans in ancient Tanzania, where ancient cone-like blast furnaces with bellows still exist to this very day and are still used. The hydraulic pump for lifting water and irrigation was invented by Africans in Egypt. That is it.
Man, that was mind-blowing. What's the name of this site?
KIK, knowledge is king. Just type the name in your favorite search engine.
Yeah, me and the fellas will check it out tonight, then after that, we'll watch Coolie High. I heard it was a 60s civil rights movie.
Oh boy, KIK knowledge is king. Get into the know. Peace.
Peace. So Amaka, what does your name means?
It means, God is beautiful. And what does Phil means?